Welcome everyone to Esports Wrap. It's been a long time. Um, no, legit, it has been. Like we
I
stopped
love it.
this. Well, we were up to 22 episodes, and then we stopped. Um, for a number of different reasons, but we're back now, and just to start things back up, I'm your host, Michael Amorgan, and we have a very new co-host now.
Hello, I'm Dwan. 23. All good stuff.
Dwan's not necessarily new to the show though. She's just new as a co-host. She's actually been on two episodes before. One episode was dealing with Destiny 2, and the other one was a very special episode with the topic being females in gaming. And that was good. Um,
Can you hear me now? Okay.
um, okay, so yeah. So what we're doing today is we are going to be talking about two topics. The first one being Sony's cross-platform ban, and the second one being Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, or Bros, whatever you want to call it. To start it off, Sony and the PS4. Um, this was probably highlighted a lot, I think, for most persons when Fortnite started to say, "Hey, we're going over to the Nintendo Switch," and then everyone who had a PS4, even if you only played on PC, tried to link their accounts over to Fortnite and found that they couldn't because they'd already linked it to a PS4. And that's when it was revealed. Because, I mean, this has been the case for a long time now, I think, with a lot of different games where there's not really cross-play or cross-platform functionality. Like, Vaughn, you've been playing the PS4 a lot longer than I have. Um, have you experienced anything like that?
I mean, no, just flat out no. Like, we haven't had cross-platform or any type of compatibility with any of the other consoles, even PC, and like ever. I don't remember. Like, I don't recall having it. So if it's out there, it's very slim, extremely slim.
Sorry about that. Just correcting my webcam a little bit. But yeah, it's. I mean, for the most part, most games were, at least originally, exclusive to PS4, well, PlayStation and Xbox, and of course some with the Nintendo GameCube and things like that. But we're not counting Nintendo right now. Let's focus on Xbox and PS4. Well, the PlayStation. And hey, Omega, welcome to the show. Now,
Hello.
um, what I think we need to focus in on is a little bit of the history. So, for a long time, there were Xbox exclusives and PlayStation exclusives. Um, I think one of the ones that stuck out in my mind, at least, was a Star Wars one where you could either you got the game on the Xbox and you got one character as a like exclusive. I think it was Yoda. And if you got it on the PlayStation, you got I think it was Darth Vader as a player that you could play as. I think.
Oh,
Um or something along those lines. Now, that was because of the exclusivity that each one of them had.
yeah. I think I remember them doing something similar to the Soul Calibur series, if I remember correctly. Like when you bought the PS4, sorry, the PlayStation version, you get like a certain character. If you bought the Xbox, they would give you a certain character, but it was never where it was like, okay, um, well, Soul Calibur wasn't like a game you could play between two platforms anyway. But I think that's like one of the only titles I know that did that. they didn't have a cross-platform, but they had it where they would give you like special perks and special things based on what console you got. Like I remember when they did that.
I gotcha. And then like certain things started happening. Like certain studios started creating the same games for different platforms. And people were like, "Oh, well, I mean, I'd like to play that game with like my friends." And it was like, yeah, no, that doesn't really work. You can only play with other persons on the same platform. And that kind of worked fine when things were exclusive, because then you only had the game on one platform.
Yeah.
But then, like, both games came out. Well, games came out on both of them, and then there were multiplayer versions of them. So then things got a little hazy. Things then died down, and then I think Xbox back in the day was top dog, especially because of things like Halo.
Debatable.
It's debatable, but they were the leader at one particular point. And so what happened was Sony actually reached out to them because they were the market leader. And Xbox told them, "No, we don't want to have cross-platform with you," which is now kind of, I feel like it's coming to bite them back in the butt.
Oh man.
And so here we are, today's day and age. Sony is the leader, and you got people like you got game developers, and you also have people like Xbox and the Switch trying to say, "Hey, we're willing to go cross-platform, Sony. How about you?" And Sony's like, "Yeah, we're looking forward to our players and like their experiences, and this is something that we're looking into." Yada yada. Not really giving an answer.
Yep. They did a really roundabout way. They did it whereby it was left pretty ambiguous, but everybody knew what the answer was, that they didn't want to go through with it because of money, and they're at the top now, so I can't really blame them for like trying to secure that position. But then at the same time, like you have to, at some point, you have to give us an answer whether or not you're moving through with it, or like your concrete answer is no. So they really, I think they're dancing around trying to buy time in order to make a decision, but and that's the way the gaming industry is going right now. Like they're going into esports and cross-platform or multiplayer. So it's only a matter of time before. I feel like it's only a matter of time before they cave in. Even though I'm not really bothered by it, to be really honest.
Right.
I feel like Sony's a master race, so regardless, like I can have the best games anyway. But at one point they will have to cave in, because consumers in that kind of industry, your consumer, you don't want to lose them just because, you know, you don't want to go with the flow, or you don't want to go with the way the industry is going. So
yeah, we actually asked this well, we brought up the topic inside of our Discord channel earlier today, and things blew up. We had a bunch of different points of view on it. Some people were saying like it's because of, say, PC Master Race. Really, Omega? We have people like Bungie, for example, who made the most recent game, Destiny 2. I'm not gonna fight you, Omega. No. I'll whip your butt in Hearthstone later, but I'm not gonna fight you. But they were actually under Microsoft. And the thing about it is, like, it seemed like they wanted to go with like creating something new instead of just Halo. Like, let's make something fresh. And it seems like, at least according to someone inside the chat, well, Discord, you know, they were hesitant. They're like, yeah, no, let's not work on something new. Let's focus on Halo. And so Bungie decided, you know what, we want to be a little bit more creative. So screw you, Microsoft. We're leaving. We're gonna like start up Destiny 2. Well, we're gonna create Destiny and then Destiny 2 and so on and so forth. And we kind of know the story from there. And so it's been a matter of Microsoft not really doing their part when it comes to their studio and like game developers, and actually making sure that they're happy. Whereas Sony's actually been doing a fairly good job with that.
Yeah, you could tell, especially with their exclusive titles like The Last of Us, and even if like you go back as far as E3, you could tell a difference of like the minute things like they do in the details, like the way like for example when they introduced The Last of Us 2, when they started off with that nice little music, like the nice little instrumental, and they had the guy playing the little banjo thing, and like small little details like listen, like they came with a showcase. They came to give you a show, and they delivered. Like with Microsoft, they just were like, oh, we know this is gonna make us money, so if the service out there and the price is gonna go wild, we know it's gonna make money. It's popular, and that's it. But
Yeah.
I mean, I might be a little biased, just a tiny bit.
I mean, I would argue that, but you're right. They came out swinging hard. Like that was one of the best like presentations at the show.
The best presentation at that show.
Like they had instrumentals for every game that came out.
Everything. They showed you everything you were expecting. They delivered. Like, oh man, I love. That was like one of my favorite E3s ever.
By the way, welcome to the show, Nelly.
Hello.
He's saying, "Hey, it's Dwan. Hey, it's Dwan. Get down low and swing your arms." I'm not sure how that's supposed to rhyme, but okay. So yeah, so Microsoft didn't do their part, and that's part of why they're not really where they should be. Because before it was equal footing. I do not know how to say your name. But welcome to the show. By Glubert Turk Numbers.
Hello.
And that's where they started falling off, because quite honestly, Xbox and PS4 were almost equals at one point in time. Then they dropped off. And
yeah.
So it's I thank you for pointing that out, Nally. It's big butt something. Big butt numbers. Okay. Yeah, I didn't like understand the username until now. Figures Nally would figure that out though. Figures Nally would figure that out. And so that's part of the reason why. But now we have game makers like Epic Games who created Fortnite. And like I mentioned before, like that really started to push the envelope forward to say, hey, we need cross-play, like now. And big butts, yes, I do like cookies. Chocolate chip cookies, preferably. What? I do. And then there was the more recent article that came out saying that Bethesda, who is the maker of games like Elder Scrolls and whatnot, say copy pasta makers. No, they're not copy pasta makers. They are actually bringing out a card game called Elder Scrolls Legends, and they're saying that, you know, if you want to play this, it has to be cross-platform. So if you're not going to allow for cross-platform, we're not going to have it on your platform. They didn't mention any particular names, but I mean, we've already seen PC doesn't have any limitations. We've seen Xbox and Nintendo quite literally saying to one another on Twitter, hey, do you want to play Fortnite together? So the only person really out there, really and truly, is PlayStation, because like Steam boxes, they quite literally run Steam, so you can still play with other people on those too.
Yep.
I have a feeling it's probably going to be allowable for the Mac. Yeah, there you go, Omega. Because granted, Steam is on both platforms, but not all games are made for both platforms on Steam. But if they're saying this, more than likely it would make sense that, you know, Mac players can play it as well.
Yeah.
So the real thing now is, and you've already alluded to it, you know, saying that quite literally we have an ex-executive saying like the only reason why it hasn't happened is money. So
Video. He was totally out.
Like he wasn't pulling punches. He's like, yeah, well, they want money.
Yeah, and they even had an interview with the head of the American, I guess, marketing for the Switch. Mm-hmm. They had an interview with him, either CNN, one of those major news channels. They had an interview, and he was just basically like she was asking him if they were ever planning on reaching out to Sony, and he was like, I mean, they know where the direction that we're heading in. They know the direction the gaming industry is heading in. So if they want to stay in the antediluvian state, then and he basically told them that like we're not gonna reach out to them because it's not their fault that the lock is happening. So they feel as though Sony should be the one to reach out to them, and I can't exactly give them all for taking that standpoint. Like I can't. Like I love Sony, but we need to do better. By the end of the day, your sales can drop. I think they were even saying like their sales already started to drop.
Yep. By the way, thank you, Stinking Thor, for following and hosting.
Thanks.
These names though, like
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
But yeah, I mean, PS4 sales have started to drop off, but I mean, people are starting to take a look at the next version, the PS5, if that's what it's going to be called. And then like projections and people are just like trying to figure it out, and they're saying, you know, these things are probably not going to come out until like the next 2 to 5 years, so we're still going to be stuck with the PS4 for a little bit longer. And I think that's why they're trying to come out with these exclusive versions of the PS4, like the Spider-Man PS4,
and they don't make any sense, to be honest, because y'all like already gave us kind of like a due date for the PS5. So like, why am I going to invest in this? You know what I mean? Like they came up with that limited edition. It looks really nice, mind you. Like it looks beautiful. It was like this almost see-through blue with the nice gold trim on it. It looks nice. And it's gonna stay right there on the shelf for me because, like I said, you already gave us a due date for the PS5. Sorry, why am I gonna spend money on this just because it's a limited edition? What's it gonna do? Like just sit up there? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, pretty much. Granted, I bought mine. What was that? Like earlier this year. And I only got it to play with you guys because Monster Hunter World came out and you all were talking about that. I wanted to play it and I got jealous and I wanted to play too. So, I mean, I'm coming in late as well, but still, that's like a year. I mean, 2 years.
Yeah,
it's pushing it. Like,
I agree, and it's clear like it's a money grab. That's why, like, they're not even trying to hide that they just in it for the money, and at least with. I know they don't have a console, but at least at Epic Games, you could see like they're actually trying to listen to their consumers. Like we asked for a jetpack, they gave us a jetpack. We asked for cars, they gave us a little go karts. They're so cute. They even try to like appeal to like different groups of people. Like they had like that one special with Thanos, so you can play like Thanos for a little while. Mm-hmm. They have like the different options, so they listen to their consumers, and because they listen to their consumers, they are as popular as they are, which is why it's beating what's the other game called?
PUBG.
Yeah, which is why it's beating PUBG, because PUBG, they're not listening to their consumers, and so it's just being stuck underneath the rug in comparison to games like Fortnite that's actually listening to what people have to say. So if Sony would do that, think of how much more sales they would get. But They're not looking at it. They're just looking at the now and how to keep their sales for now. And they're not planning for the long run. And then the long run is going to end up hurting them. So that's why I said the only choice that they have to make that's actually going to benefit them is actually the top of board. Because I actually sat and I thought about it for like, I was thinking about it all day. I was like, I can't be mad at Sony because like I'm not actually mad that they don't do the cross platform like everybody else is like really upset and stuff. But I'm not upset. But at the same time, like just do better, man. Listen to your consumers. Like they're paying their money. being cheap. Like your digital version still $60 as a hard copy. You ready robbing us? Like come on.
Okay, so we've got some people in chat saying that I'm too busy reading the chat instead of listening to you. And who is Dwan though?
Wow.
Never seen her before. I cheating on Vicky. Wow. Wow. No. Okay, so
I subscribe to loyalty.
Like I mentioned earlier on in the show, Dwan has actually been on a few of these esports episodes before. She's been on 2 of them. The one with Destiny 2 and females in gaming. And so she's now the co-host of Esports Wrap. Vicky is still our co-host for More Tech. So don't worry, Vicky's not going away anywhere. Dwan's not replacing anyone.
Her. Yeah.
They say Marlon the Fox ain't loyal.
What did they say?
Marlon the Fox ain't loyal. Ah, boy. But I mean, the real reason people got angry with Sony is they want to be able to take their stuff wherever it is. So the thing with Fortnite that really got them was not so much being able to play cross-platform, but it's something that also bugs me when it comes to Overwatch with PS4 and PC. Quite literally, I mainly play Overwatch on my PC. I have my skins on there and everything like that, all my rankings, so on and so forth. On my PlayStation, I can't take any of that stuff. I quite literally have to start up a new account just to play.
Yep.
I don't have any of my skins, so on and so forth. And that's the kind of thing that people are talking about. But it wouldn't be so bad if what happened with Fortnite didn't happen. And it's that I have all my stuff on my PC. I wanted an exclusive that was on the PS4, I just randomly linked my PS4 to it just so, I can play with friends on the PS4. I've never played on the PS4 on Fortnite. And now I want to play Fortnite on my Nintendo Switch. I actually want to play on the Nintendo Switch, but I can't link that account. I quite literally have to make a brand new account. Meaning all my friends won't be linked. Of course, I'm not going to be able to be playing with my PS4 friends. I've lost pretty much all my ranking.
Yep.
If I bought the Save Your World thing, like, thanks for sharing, Nally. Top biddies for Xbox cross-platform. Hey, Master, welcome to the show. We're talking currently about Sony's cross-platform ban. But it wouldn't have been so bad if I buy the Save Your World X Pack, which I quite literally have to buy. That's something that's not free. I can't then take my purchase where I go. I can't take my skins that I get from that or anything like that. I quite literally have to start everything over from scratch. And I think that's what caused a lot of people to freak out about it, to be quite honest.
Well, that's understandable because it's like all your hard work, all this energy, all this time, you can never get back. Like, just completely gone. And it's like, I don't think Sony understands that all you're doing is pushing sales to somebody else. Because where I may not be able to afford a PS4, I may be able to afford an Xbox. And I just say my friends on my Xbox. So why do I need PlayStation console? So you're losing money because you want to be stingy.
I agree. And I also agree with you, Nally. It should be linked to an account and not just the system ID.
I agree. I don't understand why. I mean, I kind of get it synced to your account, but then I feel like it should be on the server as well. So I'm not sure why it is that they just allow whichever console it is monopolize the information that you need to transfer.
Exactly, and it's only the PS4 that this is happening with. So, yeah, that's the real issue. But let's change the topic a little bit. What's Nelly saying? On Xbox, my games are synced to my Hotmail account, so I can go on my PC and play based on that, which is smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is smart.
Actually really smart. Yeah.
And there was another comment in the Discord chat earlier today saying, you know, if Sony's not smart with how they go through things, like come time for the PS4 and they haven't changed their stance on this, people are going to remember, like they're going to remember, hey, well, do I want to buy this game where I can't play with everyone else who's playing on all these other platforms? Because, you know, these are cross-platform games. So, yeah.
And they would be right to think like that as a consumer, because you're trying to save money, you're not just trying to like throw it away.
Exactly. So, changing topics. There's a new game that's supposedly coming out. We've seen a bunch of information about it. It is one of the most popular esports games and games to probably wreck your friendships. It's not Uno, it's not Monopoly. It's Super Smash Bros. Hey, Link Zelda, welcome to the show. We're actually just starting to talk about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And no, not Mario Party. Super Smash Bros. That is a good answer though. Like that is a legitimate good answer.
Yeah, I lost some friendships on that. Yeah. Oh well.
But they're saying that this game will be coming out December 7th, 2018. So we should be having it well before Christmas time. I'm probably going to get a digital so I can make sure I have a copy and I don't have to run out to a store and like they're all sold out. Say Smash Bros. Original, well, Smash Bros. Period would do that. Like this is just the ultimate version of that. And we're going to explain why it's the ultimate version shortly. So for starters, every single Smash Brothers player character that's ever come out is now playable. And this is a big deal because for different Smash Bros, they've actually taken out characters before, swapped them out with different ones, and like added new characters. And the fact that they now have all characters inside the game is a pretty big deal, but there's still some issues. And one of the things is that, you know, characters like Waluigi is no longer a playable character, but how should I put this? A side character that comes in to help you. I forget the exact wording for it.
I think it's a assist something.
Yeah, it's an assistant of some sort. And so you pretty much use an attack and it comes and assists you and like, does an extra attack or something like that. Now, the thing about it is, this will also include DLC fighters like Bayonetta, Cloud, Ryu, and even Solid Snake, who they took out for a little bit of time. But not all characters. Say again?
Oh, fun fact, they got the original voice actor for him to reprise his role specifically for this game.
Nice!
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I'm legit impressed they actually managed to do that.
Right?
Not all characters are going to be coming unchanged though. So a lot of characters, the way how they will be fighting is going to be changed up a little bit. And then even if you see certain characters with certain like outfits, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to have the abilities of those outfits. So for example, the Mario from Odyssey, Super Mario Odyssey, he has got a new outfit, and he's going to be wearing the character Cappy, but Mario doesn't have new moves, but Cappy will have some select special moves, they're saying. So it's a little weird. And sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just replying to Omega because he's saying that he's upset that Waluigi isn't a playable character, and nothing will change his mind about that. Evil face.
Aww. Oh man, that's deep. I honestly haven't played Super Smash Bros. Since it was on the Wii. So, yeah.
I haven't played it since it was on the Wii U, which is my
on where?
The Wii U.
Okay.
Yeah. But we've got people like, of course, Mario, Link. Link is gonna have a Breath of the Wild version with special moves and weaponry. We've got Captain Falcon with his Falcon Punch and other strong attacks will trigger a slow motion effect in 1v1 fights. We've got a new Zelda look as well for A Link Between Worlds and a Final Smash. Final Smashes, by the way, have been tweaked to be speedier and more cinematic. And that's one thing they're trying to do. They're trying to rework the animation to make it not take so long, and so things just keep moving at a consistent pace.
I noticed that when I was looking up the videos, like the frame rates are much smoother than the other installments. So that was better. Like it's better. It's easier to chain combos and it's much smoother now because of that. So I do appreciate that because the last ones were kind of like choppy.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I like that aspect of it.
Well, I mean, the fact that we've got a 720p 60 frame, I don't remember if it's 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second, but you can either play it like this, which I don't suggest if you're playing Super Smash Bros. I suggest connecting it up to a TV. That actually would lead to, I mean, this has some pretty good, decent hardware inside of it, so it's gonna be a lot better than, say, the Wii U, which is, I don't know where the heck that is over on here, somewhere. But for as big as it was, the hardware inside of it wasn't as good as it should have been.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm actually not using a webcam. I'm using a camcorder. It's a little special thing right up inside there. But thank you for that. I appreciate when people notice these things.
The little things.
The little things. But yeah, like there are even some new characters that are going to be joining. So even though we've got all the characters before, which is this making it the biggest roster already, we have new characters coming in. We've got Simon from Castlevania. We have and there's some, we're going to be talking about the levels in it just shortly, but if I remember correctly as well, we've got Echo Fighters coming in. So we have Dark Samus. We have...
I am so excited for that. But you have no idea. Like, when I saw that, I was like, yes. I want to hear for this.
Though we have some weird ones as well. So, for example, certain characters are getting placed into the Echo field, which is the alternative characters. So, for example, we have Daisy from Mario.
Yep.
Who's now under the Peach category. So she's now like an alternative version of Peach. So that's a little weird when you think about it. And then we have Chrom and Richter, and from seems to be borrowing moves from other Fire Emblem characters. So it's kind of like we're not gonna have these guys inside here, but we're gonna have their stuff, and it's gonna be with this guy. So it's kind of like, what are you doing? And then we have Donkey Kong's antagonist, King K. Rool, making his debut as well, and I think he he claws up the back of King Dedede. I think that's how you pronounce his name. We've got Splatoon characters, of course, coming in, which have supposedly a ton of outfits. And with the stages, we have the most stages possible, which is 103. To keep that in mind, the previous version of Super Smash Bros. Had 56 levels. And that's not even counting in the different modes, and even a mode that is currently being hidden, which we're going to be talking about shortly as well.
They also have like this option in the game where you can like pick two maps, and it would like transfer you between the two maps. I thought that was pretty freaking cool.
You are right. I completely forgot about that. I think that's one of the modes that you can pick.
Yeah.
And it actually like merges, like you start in one and then it transfers you into the other one somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Now,
yep.
What I want to know is, does it start you in like roughly around the same kind of time? Because there are levels that the landscape will change based on like how long you are into this fight.
Yeah.
So my question is, does it start at that particular time, or does it start from the very beginning again?
No, I don't know.
Next thing you know, you're jumping to one platform, change, and you fall. Or someone jumps right above you and pop right down into that one little spot in between. Oh my god, that would be hurtful. That would be super hurtful.
Don't get caught slipping.
Wow.
Yes, but I'm interested to see how that plays out, especially with that dynamic.
So am I. There are some other modes coming though, like 8-player fights. They're returning, and they're compatible with every map, which should be really interesting now. You have Strike Squad, which is a 3v3, 5v5, well, 3v3 or 5v5 team, where you pick the slate of characters and go through each in a series of battles. So essentially, you guys pick a roster. If you die, you can't play that character anymore. You have to switch to the next one.
I love that, actually, because you can actually, if you know your opponent, you can actually pick a character that you know your opponent is good at before they can pick it, and that's it. Like, that character is gone for the rest of the match. Like, tough. So you better be a person who's good at switching between characters.
Agreed. And don't like how your favorite 2 or 3, because you're pretty much out of luck.
Yeah, you gotta. I think they have a 32 player match as well. Like, it's like a tournament style.
I think that's the tournament mode. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like, when I saw the photos on the video, it looks like a tournament mode.
Then there's Smashdown, which is a new mode. By the way, tournament mode's one that was in a previous game before, so that's coming back. But another new one is Smashdown, where you have players that go through an entire roster in a series of fights. And this is kind of going slightly in hand with Squad Strikes. Like, once a character is used, it can't be used again as well. And then you've got the training mode, which is getting a revamp, with its own stage focused entirely on analyzing data about characters, from specific attacks to launch trajectories at low, medium, and high damage percentiles. So this is like when you really want to create your own game theorist kind of episodes. Like the guy there quite literally trying to figure out, like, how strong Mario is. How strong the bat Mario uses is in Super Smash Brothers. And he quite literally used the pixels, the trajectory, the movement speeds, how far you hit the bag and everything like that to figure out how much like strength you would need. Pretty much Mario ends up dead because all of his bones break. But just because of the sheer force. But then there was another mode, which is a mystery mode. They actually had it pixelated.
So the green one?
The green
one. Yeah, I saw that. Do they have any theories as to what that is?
Yes, they do. And it's kind of weird that they did it like this because there's a particular character in Super Smash Brothers who's known to be green. And I'm not talking Yoshi. I'm talking one of our lovely characters, Luigi, who dies. Literally dies in the most recent trailer.
That was so cute, man. I that should be.
Like we quite literally see his spirit, and he's like wandering around. It's like, okay, yeah, so that's a thing. Luigi dies, and people were like wondering, like, is Luigi dead? Did they just kill Luigi? And Nintendo was finally like, no, Luigi's not dead. Don't worry. And so this is now raising a theory that the green one is a new mode called Spirit Mode. And this is kind of going along in the lines of a new single player campaign, because we also inside the one where Ridley came about, Mario is dead as well. Ridley kills Mario. Like all we see is his hat. And so the question that's now really happening is this mystery mode might be called something along the lines of Spirit Mode. And let me see if I could find the direct quote for it. Thanks to some digital reconstruction by a Smash fan on Twitter, we might know what that mode is called. Spirits. Shortly after Nintendo Direct ended, Twitter user Ayartard pieced together the pixelated portion of the menu screen, which game director Misaru Sakurai said he can't talk about just yet. In both English and Japanese, the green menu portion of the screen appears to read Spirits. Speculation about what the Spirits mode might be centered around on what Nintendo and Sakurai have shown to date, namely that Luigi's spirit is sliced out of his body by Castlevania's version of death. And since Mario and Mega Man appear to have been straight up murdered, I didn't realize Mega Man died as well, by Ridley in a previous trailer for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, fans are wondering how the spirits of these characters may come into play in a possible single-player mode a la Adventure Mode and Subspace Emissary from previous Smash Bros. Games. They also go on to mention that there's going to possibly be another new character for Super Smash Bros. From Castlevania called Dracula. He may be coming. Sakurai saying that with the conditions under which he will appear are still under wraps.
Yeah.
But we'll know more before the game goes live December 7th.
Did you see that portion they had about the Rathalos from Monster Hunter?
I heard about that. I didn't really see it. What was happening with that?
I think it's like one of those things that we were talking about earlier with the assist. He's one of the bosses, I guess, and you could also use him to assist you in battles. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay, so let me see. Rathalos appears as both an assist trophy. That's what they're called.
Assist trophy.
And apparently he's also a boss. It can strike the opponent with its claws or breathe fire onto the stage, and it roars. Nearby fighters might be stunned. It is unclear whether Rathalos can be defeated by other assist trophies, and unknown where and under what conditions it appears as a boss. In its real reveal footage, the boss Rathalos does battle in a flat and empty Monster Hunter inspired area that resembles the ancestral steppes. Neat.
Yeah.
And apparently, Rathalos is the first character in the series to appear both as an assist trophy and a boss. Ridley was planned to be an assistant trophy in Brawl, but the idea was scrapped to keep him as a boss instead.
We'll see how this one plays out.
This should be... So we have all this stuff happening, pretty much. And it's like a little overwhelming, I'll admit. You've got the most characters inside of any Smash Bros. Game. You've got the most levels by twice the amount of levels as the previous version. You've got even more characters coming in. You've got change-ups on how some of the game features work and how the battle system is going to work. New modes. And then, there's the next thing that... What's happening next? Like, where does the series go from here? And the surprising thing is, Sakurai doesn't know what the next game is going to be like.
Well, if he did know, I would. That's a lot.
He quite literally he's quite literally said, like, yeah, I'm paraphrasing with this now, but so I probably shouldn't have used the word literally, but he knows that there's so much stuff now, he doesn't know what to do next because of everything that's inside here. Like, it could quite literally ruin the series, like the this entire thing. But his thing right now is the current game. He's not looking at the future. He wants to make this the best possible player experience now.
Well, I think that's commendable. It is commendable. I think it's amazing what they're trying to do. But if he wanted to continue it, he could tackle it like an artist tackles a sculpture. Like, at first, it's just a piece of rock or a slab of wood or something like that, and you just keep carving away at it. Because there's so much now, you can pretty much carve away at it and try to fine tune it. So that's one avenue we could take. If you're listening.
Let me see. Yeah, so I question what we will do next with the next title, and I feel that having all characters playable for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate may have been a Pandora's box that could ruin possibilities for the next in the series. Now, granted, they are still saying that there are some other characters that are going to be coming up. From the time this was done, there was a rumor that was suggesting at least half a dozen more characters are going to be coming in, which we see, we already have a few more coming in now. And that rumor was around from like July 20th. So we've definitely seen some characters come in since then. And, the Dracula one that they're talking about bringing in a little bit later on as well. So, yeah, we may not see the end of it. I think their best way forward is just pretty much what you're saying. Just adding more people, changing up the gameplay. Definitely using things like the amiibos, like changing out how the game actually works with things like these.
Yeah.
Though, I'm making some noise over here. I mean, when you got little characters like these that you're making money from, and they quite literally work with almost the majority of your games, like, you got to do something. And just making more games to pull from, expanding the Nintendo roster, partnering up with other places. I mean, when you really think about it, I'm kind of surprised that Rathalos is something, considering how Monster Hunter was such a PS4 thing. But then you also have to remember, Monster Hunter has been on the Nintendo systems before, and it's going to be on the Switch with generations Ultimate, I think it's called, or United. I forget what the U stands for.
And they're also doing a good job keeping relevant with their events. Like they do a lot of cross events with different titles.
Yep.
So it's not like a far-fetched thing to say that, okay, a monster could be in Super Smash Bros. So that's one of their ways of staying relevant and helping each other to stay in the minds of consumers. To be like, hey, you remember that one time when they had raffles and everything else in the game? So
Yeah.
they're actually doing a pretty good job of marketing as well by doing this.
I agree. I completely agree. We're almost coming down to the time though. So is there anything else about these topics that you want to talk about before we cut off?
In regards to the Sony thing, Sony, I love you guys, but you gotta start being more progressive with listening to consumers and not drop the ball on something as important as this. It's about time you issued. It's been like 2 days. It's been like about a month or so now. I think people deserve an actual answer as to why you're locking their account and not just, oh, we're hearing you, so we're not gonna do anything about it. Like that's not a good enough answer.
Yeah, pretty much. They're gonna have to if they want to stay leader. They're gonna have to.
And you don't want sales to tank right before the PS5 drops. That would be sad.
Yeah, that would. But I don't have anything else to say. I think we covered everything sufficiently for this comeback episode. But I would like to, of course, thank my co-host for coming on, as well as thanks to everyone inside the chat and the people who hosted and followed me during today's episode.
You guys are amazing.
Yes, you are. Don't forget, you could always listen to us on YouTube if you want to watch the video version. Subscribe to the podcast if you want to listen on the go. It's just audio, so you don't really need to watch us or anything like that. You could just pop us in your ear and listen. And, we're on Twitter if you want to do that. Then see what's happening on Twitter and stuff like that. Or jump in our Discord and keep up to date with whatever we're talking about. Sometimes we post up topics inside there that are completely irrelevant to whatever topics we're talking about in stream. And conversations, much like earlier today, happen. So, until next time, which is Esports Wrap will be back next week, Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And our sister show, Tech Talk, will be on Thursday with Vicky at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we should hopefully have a sister podcast coming out with an episode shortly talking about anime. So more information about that soon. And until next time, everyone, take care.